And we are officially tuning in. Good evening. Thank you, and welcome. We are going to go ahead and get started. That way we can start on time and end on time. I'm going to share my screen. And if you don't mind, if you can give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation. Thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So I am Miss Peppakai. Feel free to call me Miss Pep. That's fine. I find that a lot of adults butcher that name. That's okay. So either one, Miss Peppakai or Miss Pep. And hold on, let me just make sure we have everybody in here. Awesome sauce. Okay. All right, and for today's agenda, we're just going to go through just welcomes, introduction, curriculum instruction, and then leave time for a small Q&A. And just as a heads up, safety questions. I know Mr. Auerbach sent a couple of all calls. We're not really discussing anything about safety. I will say that we do wear masks. My mask is right here with me at all times. And the kids have it, so it's worn appropriately over their nose so it can be effective. Moving right along. This is a message from Mr. Auerbach, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. If you can give me a thumbs up if you can hear the volume, just give me 1 second, let it play. I just want to make sure you guys can hear it on your end.
Greetings, Mount Pleasant families. This is Mr. Auerbach. I'm
Thank you.
principal here at Mount Pleasant Elementary School, and I have a welcome message that I'd like to share with all of you to welcome you to our open house. So first of all, greetings. Thank you all for being here today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you to share this presentation. So first of all, welcome everybody, welcome. We are the Dragons. This is Cecil, our mascot. We are very, very happy to welcome all of you to this year at Mount Pleasant Elementary School. What we have planned for you today, we have an agenda. A couple of items I want to go over. I'm going to try to be quick with this presentation so that you can spend more time with your teachers, as I'm sure you are mostly interested in that. But there are a few things I do want to go over with you, including what is PBS, PBIS, information about Title I, and to encourage everyone to complete the parent survey. So what is PBS? PBS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. We use a three-tiered system in the Brandywine School District to identify students who need different levels of supports in our school. And what we do is we try to encourage all of our students to make good choices while they're here with us teaching every day. We will also use items from restorative practices. And down here, there's some information about restorative practices, beginning with affective statements such as I feel, and then an example of why they feel that way, and then moving all the way to circles and restorative thought bases. We also use PBIS rewards. When students are making those good choices, we like to recognize them by deposits in their PBIS rewards account, and they can actually use those reward points in our school store to purchase items that are school appropriate. So all of this is about following the 3 to be at MPE, being responsible, respectful, and safe. And if you can help to encourage your child to follow the 3 to be at MPE, then we'll make sure that we are recognizing our kids so that they can feel that love and appreciation from our students and from our staff as well. Mount Pleasant is a Title I school. Got a little bit of information here about what a Title I school is. It's a federally funded program whose purpose is to ensure that all children have a fair, equal, and significant opportunity to obtain a high-quality education. So we do receive additional funds to be able to provide those supports to our students. We also provide events such as our Title I Reading Night. So be on the lookout for information about our Title I reading night. It happened sometime in the fall. And also we have a compact which will be coming out to share with you as far as what your responsibilities are. Title I, schools believe that it takes a three-legged stool: the family, the school, and the community working together to support that child so that they can achieve their hopes and dreams. There's lots of information about Title I on our school district's website. You go to the Brandywine School District website, and if you go under the, under the Learning in VSD tab, under Supporting Our Unique Learners, you'll find this information helpful regarding what a Title I school is. Being a Title I school, we want to make sure that all of our families are included. And so we have a survey here. This year, we'd like to hear from all of our families to see what are some things that you like, what are some ways that we can help support you and better meet the needs of our students and our community. So please, everyone, we'd like everyone to finish and to complete this survey by the end of this week. You can also stay involved by joining our PTA. The PTA meets monthly, and we go over other ways that they will support our school as well this year. Well, that does conclude the presentation I had shared. I've prepared for all of you. Again, I really want all of you to spend this time with your teachers. So have a great evening this evening, everybody, and reach out if there's anything that we can do as an administration to help you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
My job is to make college easier.
Hold on
because
1
students
second.
have a lot of fun.
Sometimes it gets stuck. There we go. All righty. Here we go. So that was the message of Mr. Auerbach. This is my contact information. If you want, you can feel free to screenshot. If you like Class Dojo, I find is a lot easier, more convenient, but feel free if need be to, if you need to contact me via phone. Just know that I am teaching, so I do return messages and or email. Either one is fine. And just give me a thumbs up so I know when to click to the next screen. Awesome sauce. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, this is our day. This is our schedule. The kids come in the morning, they have their breakfast, and we do our morning meeting right after the morning announcements. Our first block is reading DI. So reading DI is that RTI spot, and RTI stands for response to intervention. So kids will get pulled according to where they are, and you have some areas of weakness and growth. So depending on where your child falls at the end of all the map testing and data, they will get supports for where their individual levels are in reading. Okay, and that can be a tier 1, a tier 2, or a tier 3. Then we start our day officially with ELA, and our ELA is more of the writing block. So that's a part of reading, but it's more of the writing part. That's where we do our super sentences. We've been working on about 2 weeks ago was the personal narrative. Now we're working on our opinion piece. Then we have science and social studies. Science and social studies flip off per marking period. So science will do marking periods 1 and 3. Social studies will be marking periods 2 and 4. We have specials, we have lunch, we have math right after lunch, recess. Math DI is that same thing for the math RTI block, that response to intervention, giving again additional supports for where students may place in areas of opportunity and growth. And again, that can be a tier 1, a tier 2, or a tier 3 group. And then the shared reading portion is where we have our chapter books. So we've been currently reading our first chapter book of the year, which is Walk Two Moons. There's a lot of information in that story, and the kids kind of seem to like it. We're in chapter 12, and it's just moving right along. So we'll do more super sentences. We go through different chapters. We go through some of the reading, like context clues, who's in our story, point of view. That's where we kind of see a lot of the reading transitions and the reading competencies and skills. And then we pack up and dismiss. Any questions so far about the schedule? Okie dokie. This is our weekly specials. You don't really need to know this, but we have double library on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that is our specials piece for our schedule. This is just some class expectations and things that, you know, I think really are the building blocks to success. Being prepared and ready to learn, kind and conscious. That's what we say, kind, conscious, making sure they're just courteous and kind to one another and good citizens. And that applies to all areas of the classroom. Number 3, complete assigned work. That's classwork and any homework. Some of this assigned work can be on Zern. They had Zern last year for the math portion. And then having a growth mindset, making sure that they are doing their very best. And if they're not sure about something or have some challenges, and just getting that hand up so they can get some help. And as a teacher, I've been a teacher for a long time. I also know that kids lost almost 18 months of school. So there's a lot of kind of going back, as most teachers do naturally in the beginning of the year, but it seems like we have to go back a lot further because of the issues with remote and things like that, and the loss of academic instruction. This is our ELA. I kind of talked a little bit about this. I just wanted to break down just some of the things that are in ELA. We do have read alouds for some of the direct instruction books. So the teacher will read, we'll co-read at times, but for these, our IRAs are our instructional tools. So we have different books, different genres, and we read as a class. We discuss the stories as a class, whatever the genres are, whatever the text is talking about, we discuss those as a class. We also go over grammar instruction as well, types of writing, writing elements, and practice each. Throughout the year, those same 3 elements in writing will come back up. So the personal narrative, the opinion piece, and the informational piece, they'll come back up again throughout the year. Okay, super sentences, we work on super sentences just about every day. All that is for fifth graders building strong, complex sentences. They did the same thing in 4th grade last year with the bookworms curriculum. They just built strong, complex 4th grade sentences. And that's just adding more details to the sentence. And kind of what I usually say to the kids is, you guys are 5th graders. We're not into the sentences where the ball was red, period, because that's kindergarten. Just adding some more details. They can use, be specific, put names in, have some more details, just really expanding the sentence. That's really what super sentences are. And they use their super sentences, but they're spelling words. Next piece. The reading MTSS, that's that reading DI block. They will get pulled and or serviced in the classroom. So once that is up and running, we have all of the data from the beginning year assessments, and then students are placed according to their tier. So where they're at instructional level, and then that faculty member will provide that service. So some of those services can be in the classroom, sometimes with me. Also, some can be pull out with another faculty member. Also at that time, once they're finished their little intervention or whatever we're working on for that reading piece, once they're done, they do have the opportunity to go back and work in their reading bookworms book to work on their super sentences like their classwork. And shared reading, I'll just put both of these up. Shared reading is that co-reading to increase their fluency. The chapters kind of differ from book to book and chapter to chapter. Some are a little bit longer than others, but we do practice choral reading that way. That shows students how to read fluently. Reading fluently is not how fast you read. It's making sure that your reading sounds like a conversation. And that's that teacher supported grade level reading. So the teacher is doing it and guiding it with them. Students are actively engaged. We are discussing questions, so we do comprehension questions. It's their job and role to be active and participate. Every student has the chapter book, so they're seeing and accessing everything all together. At the end of that, there is a portion that they'll work in their bookworms book pages. It's only 2 pages. So they have the little super sentences on 1 page, and then they have like a comprehension question, like a written response question, usually 1. And science, social studies, like I said, science marking periods 1 and 3, social studies will be marking periods 2 and 4. We flip flop. And our math, this is our math and math response to intervention. And so the math DI block portion is on that 2 o'clock side, 2:05 side. Here's where our math books and our Zern Dreambox comes in, and our Zern activities. So how it works with math, they are seeing every lesson twice. They get the direct instruction from the teacher. And once we go through that direct instruction, we're doing practice problems, we're engaged, we're active, then they will be released to kind of work on some of that small group stuff. And sometimes it's independent, sometimes it's working in the back with me, sometimes it's the teacher circling around to provide additional help and supports. Also, any special education needs are also serviced at that time as well. So on Zern, when they're working on Zern, that's the second time that that lesson is being taught. So it's once with the teacher direct instruction. When they're on Zern, those videos are embedded. They can access that video as many times as they need. And then they're doing just a little practice stuff. So they have the little math fluency stuff to kind of keep them sharp. That reinforcing of skills, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, little things like that. And then they have the actual lesson that they're able to kind of work their way through and take, and it goes right on where they are. When they log out and log back in, it picks it up right where they left off. So that's kind of math. And also they get, like I said, that small group pullout and other interventions and supports in the classroom. That also includes different enrichment in that 205 block. So that response to intervention or whatever tier they're in, they're still getting whatever their needs are, they're being met and serviced at that time. And look, my presentation is really done. So I'm going to open it up, the floor to you parents. And it's kind of like a pro and a con in that you guys aren't here, but at least we're able to access and kind of reach you guys with COVID and all that. There's still a way to kind of communicate. So I'm going to stop sharing for now. Is there any questions, anything, anyone not sure of, if you had questions about that I can answer?
I'll just ask, thank you so much for having this, obviously. How can we best support from home? I mean, I think that, you will let us know where there are, areas that they need maybe more reading or the math or,
I would say, to answer your question, that would be in everything. And I'll tell you why. And thank you for your question. What I've been noticing, I'm a tenure teacher and I've taught 5th grade many years. I've taught elementary. I can teach anything from K to 6. I also have a secondary background. I'm dual educated in special education. So I'm dual certified in that area as well. What I've honestly been seeing that's different from any other year is because of the loss of instruction, that you can't replace that in-person instruction. I mean, we do the best that we can. We did the best that we could with Zoom, but it's still very, very different. I'm seeing it across the board. Simple things, writing sentences, kids getting used to writing back on paper. Not that we write a lot, but we do write in 5th grade. They're going to be in middle school in a few short months. They need to know what a 5-paragraph essay is. So what I do is I kind of chunk it out for them. So this is our second writing assignment. We're doing an opinion piece. I take them through the elements and the things and parts that we're supposed to have in the opinion piece. And then Friday, we started writing just the intro, just what the intro is. Only 2 things in the intro for the opinion piece. Introduce your topic, 1 sentence. Your second sentence is your actual opinion. So we've been writing on the topic of Saturday school. So, there's what we call yay boo. So there's pros and cons of Saturday school. It's writing, getting back writing sentences, the super sentences, which they do every day. So they will still get that and they will get stronger with that, adding details. How you can help and assist at home. I'm all about free strategies. So they're spelling words, they come home on a list. So work with them in their sentences, have them practice writing some of their sentences. We've also talked about different strategies. You know, it's a spelling test. You can write your words 3 times each. If it's a word that you definitely know, like you know how to spell, you might not need to practice him as much. But the other ones that are a little more challenging, those are some that you can practice. So there's 3 times each for the spelling. Practice writing some of the sentences so you know how to use that word. And if depending on your sentence and context, you know how to add or change the ending. Like, for example, if your sentence is past tense, you know to add like ed or things like that. And those are also things that we talk about in class. So that's more of the reading and writing portion. The math part, like I said, they're looking at, we do a lesson. I can't really say a lesson a day, because to me, if you're hitting the lesson a day, you still have to allot time for kids not being able to understand right away. There are some concepts kids get right away. There are some content, 5th grade, it takes them a little minute. You know, you got to kind of embed that, you got to do that work. So where we are now, I sent home a couple of pages today with students. And what I sent home was the study guide, which I told them is your study guide and your cheat sheet. That's everything that Miss Pep is teaching now and everything Miss Pep will teach. So all the stuff that's coming up, the exact same things that are on that paper, it's a 2-sided sheet, has all of the practices, all of the strategies that we do in class. We're working with place value still and moving the decimal. Students are required to know in 5th grade anything from the millions all the way to the 1,000th place. So place value, I have them practice on their hands and they can count. If I know it's a number in the millions, how many numbers? So they can count ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. It's a 5-digit number. That helps them also when you throw in things like zeros. Kids get stumped. Oh my goodness, if it says it's 10,000 and I only have like 3 digits, you got to plug the zeros in to hold the place value. So it's simple things like that. But I would say place value. If you want an area to start, we are seeing some deficits across the board in 5th grade and place value. It's almost like we have to back up to the end or middle of 3rd grade when it comes to that. So like I said, free strategies, have them practice place value. I sent home some additional supports. I sent home, we're in lesson 4 of math, but I sent home lesson 3 and 4 so they can practice. And I said, it's due like Wednesday. It's got some good practice problems. They don't have to struggle, oh my gosh, and do the whole thing one day, because that's why I'm giving it to them on Wednesday so they can still practice with it. And I told the kids today, I said, also the reason I'm sending these home is because I find at times there's a disconnect. Kids can do it online. They get that fast stuff and pop in a number, okay. But when you change how the delivery is and you give it to them on paper, it's like, I know, but it's like almost like they're stumped. So making sure that they're able to do those same things. I'm all about math strategies. Before you jump into the problem, let's see first what we have. I know I have a decimal, so I'm going to put my decimal thinking cap on. I know I'm multiplying. So when I'm multiplying, my numbers should get bigger. It's a lot of me doing that every day before we start our problem. It's let's look at what we have. If we're dividing, I know I'm taking a number and my number is going to get smaller because I'm dividing it into parts, like having to share your birthday cake. Kids like, no. And the more cousins you have and the more people you have, look, the smaller your pieces get. And they don't really like that. So it's things like that. So I would say place value for the math, studying and writing their sentences. If you can also, depending on your homes and your lifestyles, if you can have them read maybe 15 minutes independently at night, great. If you can't, have them read a little bit independently or read something on the weekend. That'll help and build and get them kind of back where they need to be and build that up. But thank you for your question. I appreciate that. Any other questions or anything academic wise? Like I said, safety, we're not answering too much safety questions, but I'll fill the question out and see if I can answer it or not.
Ms. Pep, I have a question far as the agenda.
Oh, you're breaking up. That's what I'm saying. You're frozen just a
Hello?
smidge. You're going in and out. I can
Yeah, I
barely.
see that. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
I was asking about the gender
Oh,
as far
you're-
as, is there like a schedule
Is there a schedule for what? Because you're
to say what they're doing for?
kind of hard. If you can
Um,
type it
I was
to me.
asking.
Yeah, because you're going in and out, and I can barely hear you, and then you freeze up. Type it, and I really want everybody to hear it. So if you can type it, I can share it out to everybody, and then I can give you a verbal answer. Sorry about that, but it keeps freezing up every time you get ready to speak, and it's. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for her question, are there any other questions? Okay. If you want to try again verbally, we can try and give it another shot. If you can't, message me. Okay. All right. So her question is, hello, do you use the agenda book or send a schedule of what assignments they're doing so we're able to know what we're doing? So that's something that they did not give us at all this year, agenda books. We usually have agendas every day that has the schedule, everything, and that way you can pop stuff in for their homework or little reminders and things like that. They do not have anything. So on my homework board, I just have reminder about spelling. And thank you for your question. I have just a reminder about spelling, and then I have their math, Zern, and then the assignment for today, which is in their homework folder. So please, please, please check their homework folder. If you like, I can forward that back to admin and see if we're gonna get agenda books at all this year or what we're doing with that or not. I can forward that and pass that on, and or feel free to contact the school about that, but I will ask about that. Thank you very much. Anything else that I can answer for you? Okay, if you find that you need anything or have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. And feel free to send them on Dojo. I don't have a problem answering on Dojo. But as far as everything else, that is all that I have, really. That's it. I don't know moving forward what anything is going to look like. I really don't know if we're going back to, dare I say, remote, knock on wood, or not. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything at all when it comes to that. But just moving forward, we're doing the best that we can. I keep my kids safe, and I say my kids, I know they're yours, but they're mine for all of the hours out of the day. And I treat them as if they were mine, and they know that. And I tell them that. I said, anything happens safety wise, look. So, and it's a warm thing to kind of say, and that it's just a little sigh of relief. And anything that I say, I'm keeping my kids safe at all costs. That's masks, making sure masks are worn appropriately. Those of you that's just joined us, I have mine all the time. And I don't take my mask off around kids. Even when I'm out at recess, I keep my mask still on. That's just me. And it's just making sure they're rocking and rolling, doing what they need to do. And at the same time, some of them, what we're finding is kids need to kind of get back acclimated to the school setting. You have some that rock and roll, but some have been gone for a lot. And I took a poll of my class. I have a large number of kids that remained in remote setting last year. And that does take a little toll on what it's supposed to look like, sound like in the classroom and in the building. So we've been working still through all of that in addition to academics. And like I said, I always come in with that mindset of my kids are not at that 5th grade level 100%. In addition to the gap from COVID, like I said, I'm going back, finding myself going back a little bit more, kind of like to middle of 3rd grade, end of 3rd grade, to kind of pick them from where they kind of left off up, if that makes sense. And that's pretty much where we are. Zern at home, they should be hitting those Zern lessons. The math, they're hearing it twice. For me, they should have 2 lessons, me directly instruction, explicitly teaching, and then that same lesson, they have the video on Zern. And that's pretty much for math and supports at home for math that are free. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep, no problem, no problem. And any other additional stuff, I tell the kids too, there's great resources on YouTube. And they laugh because I'm like, I know you have to know how to use that YouTube. You know how to search for anything else. They're TikTok like all stars. You know, I know they know how to search, and they laugh. But I said, if you know you're having some difficulty with also place value, in addition to all the supports and tools Ms. Pep's giving you, you got to make sure you use the tools. Because if you're not using the tools, that's that effort. You got to just practice. But there are tons of videos. All they have to do, if you need place value, I would put in place value elementary, so it knows how to deliver it, like, so they're getting the appropriate content. And any other skills, decimals, elementary, so they're not giving them decimals on high school, then they'll really, right? So, but anything else additional on that, please feel free to dojo me, reach out, and how I can support you best here and there. There was a question, we just look at the chat again. We're supposed to be Zern at home. Yes, there's Zern at home, just like last year. So they're working on and completing any other things outside of that. And those of you that just joined us, they're working on Zern. So the teacher explicitly teaches the Zern lesson. I teach explicitly every day at math. Then they pick up and get that second helping of that same lesson in class, and whatever they can't finish, sometimes it takes them a little longer with the problems or whatever, they just pick up right where they left off and go on and get some extra additional practice at home. And that's that. So, but yeah, and that's it. And I will look into the agenda books, because that's the thing that they did not get this year. They got the homework folders, but they did not get the agenda books. So we'll see if there's any plan in that. I'll ask admin for that. All righty. Any other questions, please feel free to dojo me. But I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for everything that you guys do. Thank you for sending in and supporting and sending your babies to me. I know they're not babies, but I'm going to say that to you because I know, I don't care how old they get, I'm a mother too. They'll always be my baby. So I thank you for that. And I thank you for your time, and anything else that you need, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.